Okay, we're a little bit over the weekend into the new administration, the second administration for Donald Trump. President Trump he's doing things he campaigned on, whether you like it or you hate it. But things around the world, I believe that the threat has shifted when it comes to SHTF, when it comes to the things that you should be prepping for, and probably the type of content that I pump out on the channel. I still like everyday carry. I still like prep, but I never really talked about prep in the aspect of prepping weapons, which you carry every day, and all that type of stuff. I'm traveling right now. I feel a little naked because I traveled via aircraft and I didn't check a weapon underneath the plane, which means I'm now traveling without a boomstick, which just feels unnatural. I mean, I still put a knife underneath the plane. Don't get it twisted, okay? We still have some basic things that we need, but my predictions at the end of 2024 for the 6 SHTF predictions that could be dark horse were: number one, Trump has a health event, where Donald Trump has some type of health event, whether it is brought on through bad eating habits, or it's brought on through just old age, or it's brought on through whatever. Hope he lives to 150, and his voice and my voice is the last one he hears, but I'm just saying he's an old man. Health event could be something that's real. Thank goodness that has not happened yet. Second one is a government shutdown. We don't really need to worry about that until we get done with this. I think we're on a 90-day window right now for government funding. Don't quote me on that, but that's still a 2025 thing that we got to keep our eye on, is can we keep the government rolling? But more on that, because I think that's where a shift in the threat level has made when it comes to the government. We'll talk about that here in a second, because my government shutdown prediction had to do with money. Members of Congress get into a fight. It got close. I mean, Jasmine Crockett, Nancy Mace, they're ready to go outside. And just side note, both of them are some good looking women. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But that doesn't matter, neither here nor there. I think that they almost came to blows. We have at the state level, I think in Oklahoma, we got some congressmen who literally came to blows. But that's an issue when people want to fight when they're supposed to be in power. The fourth one is the burst of the AI bubble. That's something that came and felt a little bit more tangible. It felt a little bit more real. We had an AI app that was dropped into the Apple App Store by a Chinese company, and it just made the stocks for AI companies just plummet. And it's so weird because that company did not release all of its code, didn't make it available to everybody. Everybody could use it. But it still made other companies shake in their boots. That's what I'm just saying. Don't rely too much on AI. It's coming. You're gonna have to use it, but just still, okay. Number five is a realization that Trump was a lame duck president on day one. Everyone's not gonna be down with Trump and MAGA forever. That doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon. Okay, seems like a lot of Republicans are just doing their thing. It is what it is. That's just a prediction that I made. But number six was a nasty wave of social violence that rises to the levels of the 1970s. More on that here in a second. I'm not here in my normal area where I can make a delicious coffee, smoke a cigar. It just feels a little bit weird. So appreciate you sticking around for this one. Hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is one of your first times seeing your boy, my name is Marine X. I like talking about EDC, prep, survival, SHTF, all that good stuff. But here's some new identified threats for you, okay? Some new possible dark horse threats for you. Venezuelan nationals have had their protection status revoked by this current administration's, and I think that makes people butthurt. I mean, Venezuelans are still people, and they also still get butthurt. Whether they came here to seek asylum, they came here legally, illegally, whatever. President Biden had given this blanket protection for Venezuelan nationals to where they didn't have to worry about, I think, deportation and all this other type of stuff. That's been revoked. Up to 600,000 people have been threatened to be sent to Guantanamo Bay. Do we have that capacity down there at that small ass island? That's a weird thing. But imagine that you're a Venezuelan national. You came here, you don't quite have asylum approved yet. You have a court date or whatever. All of a sudden, your protections are just yanked away from you. Could you be deported at any time? I don't know. Do you have anything to lose? Just having that large number of people becoming more and more disgruntled, I think becomes a threat. The cartel has been deemed a terrorist organization by the Trump administration. Good one. That was a good idea. That brings more assets, more military intelligence, more usefulness for taking them out. But an American was shot near the border last week, which is a concern because normally cartel members don't shoot Americans on our side of the border. That's something that's an unusual thing. Do we have 100% proof that it was cartel? It could have been a coyote. We don't know. That's still concerning. Here's a one that I don't think we all expected. Federal employees are becoming more disgruntled and confused. I just talked about Venezuelan nationals who are becoming more disgruntled and confused and having more reasons to do stuff, less to live for. Like, what are they going to lose? Oh, I'm going to get deported. So effing what? Federal employees are going through a level of confusion right now. There's over 2 million federal employees, and there's just a lot of confusion going on right now. Am I allowed to quit my job and get paid for 8 months of pay? Do I have to go back to work by February 6th, or do I get fired? What if I do get fired? Let's just take the hypothetical that this chaos and unsteadiness continues. Mass attrition of federal employees is not good for the government, and I'll talk to you why. So let me just talk to you about those identified threats. Let me tell you how to rack and stack some threats, why I think that they are that way. I still think number one of the threats to think about for your personal life is going to be something like home invasions. Okay, you have more, whether they're documented or undocumented, illegal, legal, whatever you want to call them, immigrants who have less to worry about. They just don't. What's the most I got to lose? I'm gonna get deported. So effing what? My court date has been yanked away from me. I don't have to worry about anything. Home invasions are something I think you got to think about. Thinking about stocking yourself up with ammo, getting yourself practicing more. I'm just saying, especially if you identify your house as a Trumpy house. Some people literally just like, I can never get to the real person. This is the target house. I'm just saying, okay, home invasions is still something to think about. Active shooters, that's a thing, okay? Whether we are thinking about from foreign, domestic, whatever, active shooters are something that continues to be a threat. I think that that's something you need to prepare yourself for as well. Now, these are incidents. I think that things that could be accidents or more natural, you need to think about as well. Of course, we have power outages. This government so far is kind of showing itself to be an ability to be chaotic, okay? So things happening to our grid, things not going completely right. Just prepare yourself to be able to bring yourself warmth if it's cold, keep yourself cool if it's hot. Power outages, something that you need to think about. Cyber attacks, this AI stuff is weird. People are really smarter than I. And so just think about the prospects of cyber attacks when it comes to attacking your banking, attacking your deeds to your house, any other aspects of your identity. My recommendation would be to get somebody like Aura. They're a sponsor of my channel, but they're not sponsoring this video. They're literally who I use to protect myself. But I think that right now, the number one biggest threat is government disruption due to a possibility of a shutdown. I'm not talking about a shutdown because we don't have any money. I'm talking about a shutdown because of attrition of employees. Let's just take the hypothetical. So a few days ago, a mass email was sent to every single government employee in the nation that at least falls under the executive branch. Okay, so I don't think that the OPM sent emails to the GAO because they don't technically fall underneath the executive branch. They fall underneath the legislative branch. But over 2 million employees, and they said, starting today until February 6th, you can self-resign. If you decide to self-resign, we're going to give you pay until September 30th. Thank you for your service. You're also going to get all your benefits. Howdy doody, thank you, ma'am. Make your decision by February 6th. Let's just say that everybody responded to that email and said, hell yeah, I'm out of here. Not only people that could not quit were active duty members, people currently engaged in border enforcement, national defense. I don't even know if that's defined. If you work for the DOD, are you national defense? If you have a security clearance, are you national defense? If you work for DHS, are you national defense? Like, how do you define yourself as national defense? And you also couldn't quit if you were a postal employee. Those are the folks who were not allowed to quit. Let's just say everybody else did quit. I mean, what do you think happens to you, the non-government employee, the non-federal employee, if all government employees pull chalks and quit immediately? They're getting paid to September 30th, but you're not getting services until during that time frame. No one's there to do FDA food inspections. No one's there to do inspections of farms with the USDA, the HHS, Health and Human Services. No one there to award grants to critical cancer research. People that may be a part of different other three-letter agencies like the DEA. What if all the folks just quit and leave all the secret sites there all around the world? That can cause a government shutdown. The mass attrition of government employees is a threat. And I don't know why so many people are on their high horses, just they're cheering on strongly, hoping that they're able to push for just the mass exodus of government employees. I don't think it's as good as some people may think. The second threat is that's just self-attrition, people that leave themselves. But today, President Trump made in a speech saying that if you don't come back to work by February 6th, then they're bouncing your ass up out the government. That might be a good way to save some money. But imagine that we have a lot of people who work for the GSA, a lot of people that work for the DOD, and they don't have the office spaces and they don't go back to work. Are they fired? They tried to go back to work. What if they do have the office spaces, but they live more than 50 miles away from their job, and your own letter says that they don't have to immediately go back to that space? Are they fired? What if everybody is fired? Government disruption, government shutdown, I think is a thing. SHTF prep does not necessarily always have to do with the category of a threat from abroad. You have natural disasters, you have man-made threats like, attacks. We have conventional threats, which I think are super low. I don't think we're gonna get attacked by another country. But we haven't even talked about the foreign stuff. I just want you guys to think about as you continue your prep. Let me kind of land the plane on this. I think you can continue to train with your weapons, continue to train and stockpile things that you think that you need, but also your reliance on government services, anywhere where you can plug away from that, you may want to decide to plug away from that, okay? I don't know what that means for you personally in your life, because I mean, if you need the government for food stamps, I'm pretty sure you can't all of a sudden just magically make more money so you don't need food stamps. But if there's other areas that you're super depending or relying on them on, maybe be prepared for yourself to lose those services immediately. But comment down below, what do you think? Do you think that the threat levels have been raised, have been shifted? I kind of do, just a little bit. If this is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.